Hi guys, so it's me Nicolette and today I want to answer a question that I get asked so many times. Guys, I promise you, if I had R1 for every single time I get asked this question, I probably would be one of the wealthiest people on this planet Earth. But I will answer it again because information must be given to the people. Give the people what they want, right? So anyway, before I get into that, remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody who is certified and registered with the FSCA. So a couple of years ago, I used to work for a company called Avon. In actual fact, I didn't work for Avon. I decided to become a certified reseller of Avon. So basically, you would need to fill in your details and you would need to send them to Avon, and they need to approve you as a reseller. They would send you a catalog and they would send you all sorts of samples. And when you go to your people now to try and sell Avon products, you would be able to give them, show them a catalog, and they would put in an order. Then you take the order and you put it in Avon. And it's something similar that happens if you're buying Tupperware, right? You get what we call certified resellers or authorized resellers, right? And those people will give you a catalog and you would fill it in and you would go away, and literally those are the people that would be able to give you back your product, right? Now, those people do not own the actual product. They don't own Tupperware. They don't own Avon. They are just what we call resellers. And basically, when it comes to buying shares, because I get asked this question so many times, how do I buy shares? Where do I buy shares? What you need to find is what we call an authorized reseller or an authorized reselling platform. And I say reselling because basically the product doesn't belong to them. So Capitec shares do not belong to the stockbroker that's actually going to be selling it to you. They are still Capitec shares. They're still part of the company. But you can't call Capitec themselves and ask them if they can sell you shares, right? I hope that is very clear, and I'm making it a little bit clear for you. Now, what do we call the actual resellers that sell you individual equities? We call them stockbrokers, or we call them a stockbroking platform. Now, I know I confuse people when I say stockbroker because people think that it's one specific person, just like in the Avon or in the Tupperware example. When we talk about a stockbroker, generally a stockbroker is a financially registered company. It's an FSP in South Africa, and they are able to then facilitate the selling and the selling and buying of individual stocks. Most of these companies, because individual stocks are so volatile, what they then do is they also create their own funds. So mixes of things. So things like unit trust, things like mutual funds, things like REITs, things like ETFs. They will then create those and they will sell them as their own products, right? So for instance, Tebe is a stockbroking platform, right? And they might have other funds, but they can also help you in terms of buying your shares off the JSE. Now, where do you buy shares from? Because I get a lot of people giving me all sorts of company names and saying, can I buy this company's shares? No, you cannot. The only companies where you can actually buy shares that are it's companies that are listed on the JSE. Unless you are going in to meet the owners of that company. So for instance, you sit with Nicolette and you say, Nicolette, I'm trying to buy the shares from Financial Fitness Bunnies or Bunch of Winners. Then you're looking to buy equity into my company. That's a conversation between me and you. Why? Because because I am not a publicly listed company on the stock exchange. Our stock exchange in South Africa is called the JSE, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So if you are looking to buy publicly listed shares of companies, you would need to go and look on the JSE and look which are the JSE registered and authorized stockbrokers. So again, do not buy shares from Bandla stockbroking. And when you go under the JSE, Bandla is not there, because what has happened is that you have now become a Popeye. They've told you that they've bought you shares, but the shares do not exist. Basically, what happens when you buy shares, you will then so you will first and foremost nominate a stockbroker or get the services of a stockbroker, right? So once you get the services of a stockbroker, you will then give them an instruction and say, hi, my stockbroker, whoever it is, I have so much money and I'd like to buy these shares. And this is how many shares I'd like to buy. Your stockbroker is then being given an instruction from you. That stockbroker will then go and buy you shares. So what they do is they go on this huge register at the JSE and they say, hi guys, we've got 40 rands worth of shares from, we've got 5 shares of Capitec. We're trading them at 40 Rand. Is there anybody looking to buy? Somebody else might have an instruction to go and buy shares, Capitec shares at 40 Rand. That person will say, we're putting up our hand. We are looking for 5 shares at 40 Rand. Yeah, it's a Capitec. So basically that's how it works. I don't know if you guys have watched any movies where it's about the stock market, Wolf of Wall Street. There's a new series now on, is it Netflix? I think it might be Netflix, called Black Monday. It's literally about that Black Monday when the stock market literally crashed. You will see people holding these little cards. That's basically what stockbroking is. So it's like you give an instruction to your stockbroker to go into the market and go and find you somebody who is looking to buy the shares that you've got at the price which you have set. That's literally what it means when you are buying shares. So when you give an instruction, you give an instruction to say, go out and buy me shares. Somebody else on the other side is giving their stockbroker an instruction to say, hey, sell these shares. I don't want them anymore. Or, hey, I need my money. So please sell these shares for me as quickly as possible and get back my money. So that's literally how it works. That's how you buy shares. How do you where do you buy shares? Now, I've explained the one side, which is a stockbroker that you get. Then there is what we call stockbroking platforms. Number one, Standard Bank has got, I know there are many, I'm just going to give you the 2 that I have worked off. There's one called Standard Bank SGB Securities, right? SGB Securities is a stockbroking platform. There's a whole lot of other things that you can actually trade off it. You can trade CFDs, you can trade all sorts of things. You can even trade what currencies and whatever it's called. Then there is Easy Equities, right? Now, both platforms are going to require you to actually register properly. What do I mean when I say register properly? You do need to send in your bank details. You do need to send in your ID copy. So you need to be FICA'd. You also do need to send in your tax number. Now, FICA regulations are really a South African law that you have to be FICA'd if you are doing any sort of financial transactions. Why? Number one, they need to know what is the source of your income. Because what a lot of people do, those who are crooks, they use these kind of platforms and these kind of things to launder money. So they need to be able to track where your money is coming from and where your money is going. That's number one. Number two, SARS, once they are cut, you guys know the tax man. It's even in the Bible. You got to pay the tax man. Everybody knows this. So if you are going to be making any returns more than 23,800 as an individual, tax man is going to come knocking and say, Elang, pay your tax. Right? So you do need to be FICA'd. Also, it's a Financial Intelligence Act that says we all need to be FICA'd where financial transactions are actually happening. In actual fact, it is against the law for a stockbroker to allow you to do any financial transactions without you being FICA'd. So that is important because I get this question a lot where people are saying, so Nicolette, why is Easy Equities or SGB looking for my tax number? They want me to send my ID number and all sorts of things. Well, unfortunately, that's how it works. So if you don't trust those kind of platforms, you would rather than go to an actual stockbroker who's, by the way, also going to ask you for exactly the same things. So you need to keep that at the back of the mind. Let's summarize this thing. What are shares? Shares are pieces of company that you would buy, right? Number two, where do you buy shares? You buy them from stockbrokers. It's either a stockbroker company or it's a stockbroking platform. What shares do you buy? Well, nobody can answer that for you. No one can answer that for you. There's many people that have all sorts of reasoning why they say buy the shares that you like, buy the shares that you understand, buy the companies that are going to give you dividends, buy the companies that nobody knows but they've got great potential. The reality at the end of the day is buy the share, Warren Buffett says, buy the share of a company that you know will be here in 20 years' time. But now who's going to be able to tell you which company is going to be here in 20 years' time? So I always say find different strategies of how you buy. But you need to remember one thing when it comes to shares. They are highly volatile. They are highly volatile. Different things in the market can make a company's share price to either grow or to fall or to stay stable. What's happening in the company. So you need to research your companies and actually understand. That's why I always say information is so vital, guys. Education is so important because tomorrow you're going to say, Nicolette, should I buy Naspers shares? And then the debungling of Naspers happens and maybe you don't get the value of your money. And I cannot do anything about that because at the end of the day, I just said what everybody is saying, right? Listen to read some books about stockbroking or stock investing. Listen to radio shows. I mean, Bruce Whitfield's got a great show where they speak. They even talk about hot picks of the week. But again, even he cannot tell you which stocks to buy, right? What they do is they speculate mostly on which types of shares are going to do well. And speculation is based on doing an analysis of risks, right? At the end of the day. So we trust these people because they work in the space. So they will probably know better than us which share price is about to drop and which share price is about to grow. But if anyone knows more than that, that is called insider trading. If anybody calls you and says, dump your shares now, hi, what do they know that you do not know? Huh? What do they know that is not readily available for all of us to know? So basically, yes, so we've summarized. What other questions did I get asked? Yes, you cannot call Capitec and say, guys, I'm looking for shares. Where do I buy shares? They're going to say to you, go and find a stockbroker. I'm hoping that this is actually going to summarize or to get you in a better position where you feel a bit at ease as to how do you actually buy shares. What are shares? Oh, some people ask me, how do shares actually make money? Let's give you an example. Somebody said the other day, I don't know how true this is, if you bought 20,000 rands worth of Capitec shares in 2009 from a Capitec loan, you in 2019, your shares would be worth 931. Now, I don't know how accurate this is, but I'm just showing you an example. What happens is as the company grows, the share price also grows, right? So a piece of that company becomes a little bit more expensive. So if you buy your shares at 4 Rand today, and within 10 years, your shares are worth, maybe one share is now worth 50 Rand. It means that when you actually sell, you will sell your shares that you bought at 4 Rand, you will now sell them at a 50 Rand. And you will then make money from the appreciation of the share price. The other way you can make money is from dividend payouts. So there are some companies that pay out dividends. Now, dividends are paid up as a decision that is made at an annual general meeting, which is something you must also go and attend. If you have bought shares in a company, make sure that you go to the annual general meeting or at least nominate your proxy for whatever decisions that you're making. Because how do you then make decisions of a company that you kind of like bought into but you don't care? That makes absolutely no sense. Obviously, you cannot just bust into the, Capitec head office and say, guys, I want to know what's happening right now. I'm a shareholder. No, my friend. There are processes that you can follow. So that is really, really important that I wanted you guys to just remember. This is what it means when you are buying shares. Where do you buy shares and how do you buy shares and how do shares make you money? I hope this time around we've answered all your questions. If I have not, let me know and I will answer them again. I know the next question that you're going to ask me is, how do I choose which shares to buy? And I've already answered this, so don't ask me that question, please.